Oh, yeah. Thank you, Greg, for bringing us some theremin music tonight.
Who doesn't like theremin?
I don't know, and if I do know, I don't want to know them anymore. Yes, everybody, you're in the Cromulent Jesse channel, but welcome to the Would a Coward Do This? Bye! No, this is a Super Simpsons stream. So Greg and I used to do this. Oh, man. Eddie, thank you for the resub.
Does this mean I can book you as my wedding minister?
Yeah, totally. You can book me as your wedding minister. And he's running the Hella Greg theme song for you, too. So, some of you may not know, Greg and I used to do a Simpsons podcast. We did a podcast before that. Nicole from Bloody Babbles. Hey, wait, who's Greg? Said Floyd. It went away, and we've been, Simpsons is near and dear to our heart. I would say it was our passion project. Yeah, Greg?
I have a lot of passion for The Simpsons.
Yeah. So it was just always an easy thing to do. And I got to thinking the other day, why are we not doing it? But instead of doing it in a full capacity, let's do what are arguably probably my favorite episodes of each season. Yes, Eddie, it is quite sad, isn't it? The Treehouse of Horror episodes.
Yeah.
I mean,
they're instant classics every time.
I was gonna say it definitely, the waters get muddied a little later down the line, but
well, it's great that they're non-canonical because you can have a lot of fun with them.
Anything.
They don't have to be
Yes.
you don't have to follow the normal rules. People can die.
They're always more violent. You're under arrest for the murder of Mo Sislak and Mo, or Apu Nahasa Pasa. Just Mo. The one with the spooky ghost. Yes, Eddie. That's right. So, to dive right into it, this is the very first Treehouse of Horror in the second season of The Simpsons. Really quickly, I listed our sources as Our Eyes.
Yeah.
The Simpsons Wiki.
Yeah.
Frinkiac. If only for the photos. It helps a lot more than you'd think when you're like, is that the right spot? And you look up the quote and you're like, oh, there it is.
So many times, like when I send you Simpsons get screenshots and stuff as reactions in our text.
It's just from there.
It's because I think of the scene in The Simpsons and I'm like, okay, so I type that quote in and then it pulls up the scene that I want to use. And I'm like,
yeah, it's perfect. If you guys don't know, Frinkiac.com literally has every scene of The Simpsons. You type in the quote, it pops up.
Over 3 billion quotes.
Yes. Did you pull down all the Simpsons Halloween pops? Are they ready to go? I do definitely have them close by. I didn't pull them down. With anything other than show a toy rewards, which during Simpsons Show, I'm only going to be showing Simpsons toys, so be ready for that. And any other rewards requests, I'll either do at the end or I'll give you guys your money back on. So we're focusing on Simpsons tonight. You know what I'm saying?
Make me do it.
Or I'll make Greg do it. Yes.
Hey, Eddie, you want to see you? I'll show Chad a toy.
Yeah, Greg's going to do it. There we go. Oh, it's Mars Attacks.
That's the only toy I have within my reach.
There we go.
But notice the floppy disk that it comes with?
Hey, that's how you know it's vintage. Okay, so let me show Eddie two toys real quick. I'm going to pull down a handful. I should have. That was dumb.
Immediately shows a non-Simpsons toy. I don't have any Simpsons toys handy that I know of. There might be an Auto Man in a guitar, in a wild jacket playing a guitar. Eddie, floppy disks are 3D prints of the.
I guess they should have at least grabbed the ones that were in this episode.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
okay, so
the fact that you can sort your toys by were they in this episode or not is impressive in and of itself.
Thank you. So I won't show that one yet because I'll show it with the episode here. Eddie, I'm gonna give you back-to-back toys, and if we spam toys, I'm just gonna skip them for a little bit too. Just heads up. We got no zoom screen for the Simpsons Show, guys. We're working with what we got tonight. I think these are appropriate, though, for, if I'm not mistaken, their first appearance in the show. Kang and Kodos.
Kang and Kodos.
Yes.
Like that. Is that Kang's teeth that you can see real clearly?
One of them has, like, more of a open mouth, like teeth separated.
Yeah.
And the other one has, like, more of, like, a clenching teeth. But you can still see all of their teeth.
That one right there that you just held up.
Yeah.
The first one.
First
it
one.
Looked like, yeah, when you were holding it up and it was back a little ways, it looked like it said across the teeth.
He's also the only one holding the ray gun. So there you go. 2 toys. Bing, bang, boom.
It's me, Clinton.
We're just exchanging protein strands. Okay, so the last...
A better way I'd like to hear it.
The last source we use...
Get that through that yet.
Greg and I both have this large book right here. Simpsons World, the Ultimate Simpsons Guide. This is seasons 1 through 20. This is literally the largest book I own. I don't own... I have It, which is probably the second largest book I own, and it's like half the size.
That's funny.
Kristen, thank you for hosting.
I fucking dropped that book one time in my old house, and it had hollow foundation, or like a raised foundation.
Boom!
Yeah, it goes boom, and I could hear the dogs down the hall scatter, and what the fuck is going on out here? Nothing, I dropped a book.
Eddie said, that's how I know you're rich. It's because we read.
Yeah.
Only rich people read, apparently.
That's why my reading comprehension is not good.
That's how the big books. Greg and I both bought damaged copies of the books in order to save money.
Because otherwise it was going to be more than I felt like giving
Yeah.
to the cause.
100%. Okay, Greg. Where were you October 25th, 1990?
October 25th, 1990. Well, let's see. I would have been almost 3.
Mm-hmm.
So my guess is nestled in a bed that had those little, the things that go on the side to keep little kids from falling out that were like mesh.
Yeah, for sure.
With my face pressed up against one of those, like trying to fall out of the bed anyway.
Like a baby bumper.
Babysitting service.
Floyd said in 10/25/1990 he was not alive.
Yeah.
So that's when this episode aired, or like I said, second season, 3rd episode, 16th episode overall. If you get to the title card, it says Simpsons Halloween Special.
Wrong.
But the episode is called Treehouse of Horror. So it was like they animated the title card and were like, wait, shouldn't we go with Treehouse of Horror? You know, the motif and everything. And like, oh,
Yeah.
You son of a bitch.
That's genius. That's I never put that together until
I remember you putting it together the last time we talked about it.
and the moment of aha, where I was like,
Oh,
wait,
shit.
they call it Treehouse of Horror because they're
Yes.
in a treehouse telling scary stories.
There you go. About negative 8 years old, said Floyd. Okay, so 10/25/1990, Treehouse of Horror airs for the first time. It's written by Jay Kogan, Wallace Waldarski, John Swartzwelder, Sam Simon, and of course, the honorary writing credit goes to who else, Greg?
Edgar Allan Poe.
Edgar Allan Poe gets a writing credit in season 2 of The Simpsons. So there's a fun fact for you right off the bat.
I gotta say, aside from Edgar Allan Poe, like let's bench Poe for a second here.
Okay.
Wallace Wolodarski, Jay Kogan, like these are
Swartzwelder and Sam Simon. That might be the Mount Rushmore.
That's the like if there was a dream team equivalent of Simpsons writers,
Yeah.
that would be it.
Right. Kristen said she's pretty sure she watched it on TV as it aired. Thanks for making me feel old. Floyd. Let's see. Eddie asked, was that in black and white or did they have color by then?
And you had to get up to change the channel.
I don't. My parents loved The Simpsons, so there's a good chance I watch it, but it's not like I was 3.5. I don't remember watching this episode for the first time. But okay, so this one's directed by Rich Moore, Wes Archer, David Silverman. Also huge
Yeah, I was gonna
hit
say,
your names.
God, dude, like, no wonder this is such a good episode.
Yes, or was it one of those mute films? Eddie, shut up. This one.
Treehouse had a man to play piano alongside.
And I was wearing on an onion on my belt, which was the fashion at the time. So no chalkboard, no couch gag for this one because we had the whole Treehouse fly-in thing. I've got some stuff at the end about like the headstones, I think.
So we got some good headstone jokes.
Yeah, I got a couple in here as well. I threw some facts in kind of willy-nilly as I thought of them.
Big facts.
Yeah, so in a parody of the original Frankenstein, Marge comes out. This is how the episode starts, is Marge stepping out onto stage, out from a red curtain, warning viewers that the program may give their children nightmares. She's straight with them. She's straight with us, the audience, telling us it's going to be scarier than normal.
Because first and foremost, Marge is a mother.
Right. So she says at the end, tuck your children into bed tonight instead of writing us angry letters tomorrow. Like, straight up. Hey, we just told you as much as we could. Intended for mature audiences. Yes, Billy. Way before there was TV ratings, Marge came out and said, listen, idiots, this is a Halloween episode.
Yeah, well, an ounce of Prevent's worth a pound of cure.
Yeah. And she'll do this for like the next 2 or 3, I think, if I'm not mistaken.
I think they reference each other, too.
Yes, exactly.
I'm not going to waste my time trying to warn you because you're just going to do it anyway.
Right. So I love that. Tuck your children into bed tonight instead of writing us angry letters tomorrow. The headstones you see as we fly through were Ishmael Simpson, Ezekiel Simpson, Cornelius V. Simpson, Garfield, the Grateful Dead, Casper, the Friendly Boy, Elvis, Your Name Here, Paul McCartney, and Disco.
Well, Stu would be very upset to learn about Disco. And I think Casper the Friendly Boy is very clever because they didn't know he was a ghost when they buried him.
Oh, shit.
And I think that's fucking clever.
Your fish are dead. I know, I can't get him out of there.
Hey, Stu, you should buy this jacket. Disco Stu doesn't advertise.
Oh, yeah, I tried to go for Disco Stud, but I ran out of room. Okay, so we get the wraparound. We'll get this in every single Treehouse of Horror. Thanks. I saw you moving for it. So we get the wraparound always. It kind of is the setup for the stories we're going to see in all of the Treehouse of Horrors. You guys are going to get 32 more from us by the time... I want to become famous. I know, dude, every time. So what we see is the Treehouse. We zoom in. Homer's coming back from trick-or-treating. Ooh, what a haul this year. He notices Bart and Lisa are telling ghost stories. Maggie's up there, too, in Bart's treehouse. And
I did like you mentioning it's mighty dangerous to have Maggie in the treehouse.
Yeah, I as a father, as Marge is a mother.
Ladder to get up there.
And then how'd they get down? Maggie just held onto Bart's neck, and they climbed down.
Yeah, he made a Maggie cape and climbed down.
Yeah.
But see, I can appreciate that because little kids are strong. They think that shit's fun. And Maggie is probably, of the Simpsons, she's probably the smartest, most well-adjusted. So.
Yep. Okay.
That's my take on Maggie in a treehouse. Let it happen.
I don't think you're... I mean, it is cartoon, but just as a dad, I was like, yo, what the fuck's that baby doing in there? So Homer climbs up to listen. He starts eavesdropping. He doesn't announce himself. He's just like hanging out on the outside of the treehouse while Bart's commenting on Lisa's first story. We get the classic, like, the cops called and they traced the call. It's coming from inside the house. But it was too late. Boring. Yeah. Also, there's a skeleton behind them on the treehouse with only 4 fingers, just like them. I thought that was fun. Stay consistent.
I was gonna say it would only make sense.
Yes.
They don't have nobody's seen God's skeleton.
Not yet. So Bart is not impressed by the story. He's heard it. He said he heard it in the 3rd grade. Bart's in 4th grade.
Impressive. Lisa's in 2nd.
Yeah, that's true. She's got a head start. But he says he's got a story, one that's pretty scary, and it is called Bad Dream House. So that sends us into our first of 3 stories. So every single, except you might be upset to hear this, Greg, every single Treehouse of Horror is 3 parts. You've got wraparound, you've got 3 parts. Number 32 is 5 parts.
Really?
I've not seen it yet, but it is it's the first ever 5-parter. It's not longer. It's still only probably 23 minutes of runtime. You fit more ads in that way.
They do a lot of 3-act. I mean, The Simpsons is like a 3-act structure, so I'm curious to see how they.
Well, I mean, when it's in the Treehouse of Horror, I mean, they're just fitting whatever they can. But we'll have to watch it together.
Like there's the first act where Lisa
sets
I
see.
A love story and Bart has to.
I get what you're saying. Why 5 parts? I don't know, Eddie. I literally just read that tonight because I have not watched.
Probably trying to go for something creative and different,
or just something new. They're still booked for season 33 and I believe 34. So they've got at least they're in 33 right now. So
they've done how many 100 episodes?
Nearly 700.
Yeah, so they're probably just trying to look for ways to keep things fresh.
100% we could watch Simpsons together, Eddie. I know movie night kind of went the way of the dodo, but watching episodes of The Simpsons is much easier because they're 20 minutes apiece. So I'm 100% down to do that. So, okay. In Bad Dream House, there's a little bit of Amityville horror going on here. There's a little bit of poltergeist. This is one good thing you'll always get out of Treehouse of Horror episodes is they're incredibly referential. Like, Greg and I may even miss some. That's why the Simpsons World Ultimate Simpsons Guide is there for us normally because, I mean, how many times we talked about when we did this as an episode in the podcast, you were like, oh, Treehouse of Horror. And that's not to say that you're like slow or miss something. It's just that there is so much packed into every single episode. Like you're not thinking about what's good. I'm saying you're not thinking about the correlation of the episode's title to where the episode is taking place. I don't know. To me, like it's just packed full every episode. Like you said, the street sweeper cleaning up the bike joke. It's just like there's so many moving parts. But anyway. In this parody, A Bad Dream House, Eddie said you're actually slow.
Something said not good.
Yeah. The Simpsons are moving into a new house that they got at a great price. On the way out, which they have movers helping them, by the way. Homer tips the movers $1, and the mover says, "Yeah, I'm glad there's a curse on this place." And that one line was James Earl Jones.
Yeah, Darth Vader's glad that Homer Simpson's cursed.
Right. The house has 18 rooms, a moat, and is in prime location, making Marge worry about how they were able to afford it. Homer just chalks it up to motivated sellers.
Absolutely.
We see Bart unpacking boxes, and they start to pack themselves back. So, like, he's pulling books out, and they're just putting themselves right back into the box.
Same book 3 times. Comedy rule of threes.
Right. And then the 4th time, it flings over at Lisa and hits her in the back of the head. And she turns around and, like, blames Bart. And a little tussle ensues. And then they hear, "Get out."
Yeah, so when the house started talking, we started discussing whether or not that was James Earl Jones, too.
Right. Well, because I thought the voice of the guy saying, "Oh, yeah, it sounds like, or I'm glad there's a curse on this place," sounded like the Get Out house, but it's not.
It's not the same voice, but we didn't know that the mover was James Earl Jones. We thought the house was James Earl Jones.
Right.
And then in looking it up, we found out that the mover was, in fact, James Earl Jones, and Harry Shearer was the house.
Thanks, Prince Dipple Skipper.
Yeah, I thought that was a fun turn of events.
So everybody clearly hears the house say, "Get out." So Halloween eggs? Yeah, that's it. Marge asks what on earth that could have been, and Homer just says, "It's probably the house settling." The next scene shows Marge unloading groceries in a kitchen where the walls are bleeding, and she's so laissez-faire about the fact that the walls are just bleeding, and this could use a woman's touch.
I mean, to be fair, Bart Simpson is her son.
That's true. I think I was talking about this when we were watching it earlier. There was a Reddit post recently about how somebody gave like a good 15 examples of Marge just being absolutely so playing it straight in Halloween episodes. Like the one where Homer goes crazy like Jack Torrance. We'll talk about it when we get there. But like Marge is just like just plays it straight, never really scared, never really plays into any of the craziness. Just so like the walls are bleeding, and she just says how she needs to clean.
Because that's her instinct.
I know.
That's her go-to.
That's when
Marge, it's 3 a.m. Shouldn't you be baking?
That's when she notices a vortex in the kitchen. Lisa comes in and says it's likely a vortex to another dimension. So Lisa's like I know you said Maggie's probably the smartest, but Lisa's the one that can talk. So for now, Lisa's definitely holding down the intelligence, bringing up the average of the intelligence of the Simpsons.
Absolutely.
Homer walks up and immediately throws like an orange into it. It goes down and does like a cool like and like disappears. Yeah, nice. And then a letter almost instantly comes and flies back up, crumbled up, hits Homer in the face, says like, "Stop throwing your trash in our dimension."
Which, for not being able to see Homer, excellent toss.
Great shot. Great shot.
Also, I think the vortex was severely underused.
Yeah, we just saw it the one time.
There was a lot more that could have been done with that.
It's because they knew they were going to use a portal later. Didn't want to overuse it now.
But I think it comes into play later.
Yeah, like next season, I think.
No, I mean when the house implodes in on itself.
I see. Good call. So we then hear Bart like screaming out. Everybody runs into the room to see Bart floating, being strangled by a lamp cord. Maggie's floating next to him. A bunch of household items are floating around them in a circle. The house is threatening them, just like to leave. Just floating. Really right. Who wants to hurt a baby? There's a shithead kid there. Let's see. Okay, boy. Oh, yeah. Homer comes running in. Okay, boy. Let's see you explain your way out of this one. Yeah, he's just getting choked by a lamp and floating while the room has floating items and his other child is floating. And it's Bart. Okay, boy. Let's see you explain your way out of this one. Lisa mentions the fact that she can sense an evil spirit in the house, and she's like shivering. I can sense an evil spirit. And this sends Marge, Marge takes Lisa's sense of this evil spirit very seriously.
She knows how smart and intuitive Lisa is.
Yeah. So evil, get your coats. And the coats come flying at them like the ghost handed them their coats. Sorry, you got that smoke on my face. It's crazy. Homer explains to Marge that the house is just a fixer-upper. What's the problem? We get a bunch of priests in here.
Yeah. They're not even Catholic.
Yes, I know. Whatever, dude.
It comes out later. They're Presbylutheran.
Then after he says that, Homer's thrown to the ceiling. He slams around a little. He's doing classic Homer. Go! Gets dropped. And then after he gets accosted by the alien, just asks Marge to sleep on it. But then Marge agrees after seeing two of her kids and her husband get thrown around by the ghost.
She knows Homer's not going to let anything happen.
Yeah, I guess. When everyone tries to settle into sleep, the house just brainwashes everyone to kill each other. They're all against you, Bart. You must kill them all. They all must die. Are you my conscience? Yes, I am. I just love the pause. Yes, I am. This is better than what
talks.
Yeah.
I like the inflection that the house uses. The whole time, it's just everything. Like they said, okay, be spooky, and he was like, "You mean like this?" And they were like, "Yeah, that's spooky."
Whoa! Holy shit, Harry! How'd you do that? So yeah, tells Baldy wants to kill him. It's his conscience. The voice then tells Lisa the butcher knife, Lisa, which is in her nightstand, so she didn't have to go far.
Well, if it can move jackets, it can put a
right. Homer's then shown looking awfully Jack Torrance-like with an axe, saying that they all must die. Then we see Marge taking a knife down off one of those magnet, knife holders on the wall.
Didn't we see Maggie get hers yet?
Yes, maybe I skipped it.
Maggie had that little paring knife.
Yep, you're right. And then, so, Homer's walking and he's calling to Marge, playfully, or he's calling Marge in the kitchen. She's, I forgot she had the knife right by her. Yeah, exactly.
All very sing-song.
Yeah, it's all very sing-song. But then Homer sees Bart, Maggie, and Lisa walking by with their weapons. So the next we see it cuts to all four of them walking in a circle while the house is saying, "Die, die, everybody die." Marge walks.
Good chance, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, right.
Would learn that one.
Right. Luckily, they're prevented from what they are doing by Marge not being brainwashed, but she was only making a sandwich with the knife we saw her pulling down.
Like, she didn't hear the house talking to everybody and them stomping around in the living room with various weapons.
Nope. So she yells at them. They all drop their weapons, apologize to one another. Sorry, Bart. Sorry, Lisa. Sorry, Maggie. Sorry, Bart. Sorry, Lisa.
Yeah, I like that Lisa calls Maggie Mags.
Yeah.
Sorry, Mags.
Well, they were all
That's
going
like
to
the
kill each
whole-
other.
Yeah. It's best to keep it informal after that.
Right. Marge demands that they leave because they've had their differences and squabbles, but they've never had knife fights before.
That she knows about.
Just then, for the first time since living there, Lisa looks down into the basement, discovering that they are on an ancient Indian burial ground. Suddenly,
With some pretty famous Native Americans in there.
yeah, I think I put them at the end. Yeah, we'll get to it. I have it. What's in there? Pocahontas, Sacagawea, Geronimo,
There was another one.
Mahatma Gandhi.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then the house threatens him again. Homer calls the realtor to complain about the fact that he was never told about the Indian burial grounds. I love that conversation between them. Squanto might have been in there too, Eddie. Where he's just like, no, I don't recall that part of the conversation. And then gets off and he says, apparently he told me about it 5 or 6 times.
He says he explained it explicitly 5 or 6 times.
Yeah, that's not my recollection of it. The house think it's very threatening. Tell them that they'll need to leave, or you will die slowly. Your stomach will swell. Your intestines will writhe and boil. Your eyes will burst, and some horrible stuff. Possibly your brains will start coming out through your nose.
All right, shush. Shush, that's enough.
Yeah.
Shut up.
Once Marge says shut up, you know shit's real. I love that
Yeah,
after she tells it, the house is just going...
The Darth Vader.
Yeah, exactly. He's like, damn it, James wouldn't do this part.
Yeah.
Do his
man,
part
that's why
then.
this is why we brought you in.
So she tells the house to learn some manners. After a few moments, he's pretty hurt by Marge's words, but it complies. After harassment by Bart, asking it to bleed again. Come on, man, we own you. Yeah, I got the on the screen there. Do it. Do it, do it, do it, do it, do it. No, come on. Hey, man, we own you.
Yeah. I like that it'll change colors and stuff so it's obviously not difficult for it to do. It just refuses to.
It was a very neat effect they used throughout the episode was like the changing of room colors to suit mood. So I really appreciated it. Yeah, I got a couple GIFs. You guys will see them pop up in there. That's how we're going to try to beat getting muted, is to not use the audio, just use some GIFs and do our best impressions through them.
You'll have to use your imagination.
Not too much. It's down there. You can see it. Most people here have heard it. That's the wonderful part.
Yeah, that's fair.
Let's see. So after the harassment of Bart, do the blood thing. Do it. Do it. Do it. Do it. Do it. Marge explains that they're living in the house. The house is going to have to accept this. The house asks them to leave for a moment as it chooses what to do. Life with the Simpsons. What choice do I have? The house then determines that it would rather die than live with the Simpsons, and it starts to implode into nothingness, or that vortex.
And it made the same sound.
Right, which is a nod to Poltergeist, and there's a house called The Fall of the House of Usher from 1949, where the house did something similar.
That they referenced that again in a later episode.
Okay. Lisa says
All
that
the House of Usher.
the house would rather kill itself than live with him. Can't help but feel a little rejected. Lisa's got some pretty good enders.
He sums it up nicely.
Yeah, in this whole episode. So that's the first story. Lisa tells Bart that it wasn't scary. That was just my warm-up. Homer is outside the treehouse, like clearly scared. He's like shivering in his ghost costume. Oh, yeah. Bart tells Lisa not to worry. That was just his warm-up story. He has a much more macabre tale.
Yeah. Macabre.
That's what it was. A much more macabre tale. Did you know Usher's house collapsed?
That's the joke that they did later when they were watching when buildings collapse, and there was a bunch of buildings that were collapsing, and they showed a mansion, and it said Usher on the gate, and it collapsed in on itself. So they made it seem like it was Usher's house, but it was a reference to the fall of the house of Usher.
Brilliant.
Dude, you gotta be.
That's what I'm. Well, that's what I was saying at the beginning. There's no way to.
People say Rick and Morty fans have to have a high IQ, but really to understand the Simpsons, especially in the early years, you have to be pretty smart.
Simpsons early years episodes, especially if you haven't watched them like since you were a kid or something like that, they're worth the rewatches because they're on Disney Plus and just about everybody's fucking got it. Put it on 4:3 so you can watch it in its true fashion.
Doesn't it auto do it?
No, you have to go into your settings and set the first 10 seasons to run in 4:3, or else they'll run in 16:9 and you'll lose the top and bottom. Which there's a lot of visual jokes that get cut out.
33% of my jokes.
Yeah. So
I'll take place here and here.
Bart's next macabre tale is "Hungry Are the Damned."
I think he just wanted to say damn.
Yeah. So this is a parody of a really good Twilight Zone episode. Actually, the dude who played the Auto Chopper is in this Twilight Zone episode.
Richard Keel.
Yeah, that's his name. To Serve Man. He's the Auto Chopper to me.
Yeah.
The Twilight Zone episode was called To Serve Man. And so the Simpsons are having a barbecue in their backyard. And I was like, oh, the book mentions how this is the first time the Simpsons have had a barbecue. And Greg had to point out to me, oh, yeah, well, it's non-canonical, so they didn't. I was like, oh, yeah, you know what? You're right. Shit.
Here's Sherry and Terry's voice. You ruin everything, ruiner.
So they're hanging out. There's like bugs flying everywhere. Homer turns on the bug zapper, and you hear, ow! Oh, that was a big mama. It's sort of like Edgar Allan Poe had something to do with this episode or whatever.
He's such a dad in this episode.
Yeah. So he catches it in the. I just love that. And then he does the full bottle of lighter fluid. Send flames like hundreds of feet into the air.
Mushroom cloud.
Thoroughly impressing Bart. Cool, man. Suddenly, Lisa's there chewing cud. It's like 2 seconds long, but she's literally like.
Well, I think part of that is watching these shows in headphones.
Yeah, that's true.
Where we weren't before, and like that. It's the early 90s. They hadn't really mastered the Mixmaster ambient sound.
Yeah, they really went in for the Foley there.
Guys, like, no, it took me 3 celery stalks to get that sound.
So the entirety of the backyard turns green and an alien spaceship shows itself over the backyard. Lisa sees it first, and even though it's a cartoon, you get the cool dolly zoom shot.
Yeah,
like in Vertigo or in Jaws, where like the dolly's moving backwards with the camera zooming in. So that, like, to me, like, not that I'm some like huge film buff, but I've always loved that shot because I love Vertigo and I love Jaws, and such a cool shot, and just cool to see it like represented in an animated. Like, they didn't do a dolly zoom; they had to animate that.
Yeah,
and I just appreciated it. Thought that was cool. Homer walks up and tells them that the burgers are getting cold.
Yeah. Holy moly.
Oh, that's right. The ship then abducts them, pulls them all up nice and easy, and needs a second tractor beam in order to get Homer aboard. Go ahead and tell him your qualm, Greg.
I fucking have beef with this scene because when they pull Homer up, when like he's in the tractor beam, and you have a second one that comes down at an angle, and as it's pulling him up, he goes between the 2 tractor beams for a second. And his pants stay the same color as they are while they're in the tractor beam.
Ambient light, man. Ambient light.
That doesn't affect anything else around it, just Homer's pants.
Yep.
Like, I mean, if he's got UV active pants, that's fine, but established stuff.
Knowing Homer, he probably does. So they get up on the ship. They meet Kang, Kodos, and Serac the Preparer. They also find out that the aliens speak English or Rigelian, but by an astonishing coincidence, they're exactly the same.
That's handy. That's helpful.
That is very helpful because you always get the no, we're speaking in a language we knew would be comfortable for you. Now there's nope, we're actually speaking Rigelian. By an astonishing coincidence, they're exactly the same.
I can only hope that'll be the case when we make contact.
Right. It's not going to be like Mars Attacks, like a dove flies by. Ack, ack! Just start killing everybody. I watched it the other night. So good. So Lisa literally drops to her knees and starts begging for their lives, saying that they always face persecution and are never the most liked people around, but they deserve to live. Just then, they're like, "Oh, dinner time."
Yeah, they just interrupt.
Yeah. So they're given all their favorite foods to hold them over. Lisa gets fried shrimp. Yep. When we make contact again, said Eddie.
Right.
It's on Netflix right now, Kristen, so get your Mars Attacks fill in. Bart makes sloppy joes. Homer gets smothered pork chops, and Marge has radish rosettes.
These are very difficult to make.
They're a very advanced race. Which seems like something that later Lisa would be eating, the radish rosettes.
Yeah, but this is before she met Paul McCartney, so she's...
Yep.
Plus, it's non-canonical, so it doesn't matter.
Marge is paid a compliment through Homer by one of the aliens. Who can tell who's who by then? But telling Homer that his wife is quite a dish. When they uncloche the food in this scene, they kind of give you like a little preview. If you guys check out the TV here, it's like a 2-second clip, but you get an idea of what's going on.
Well, that's actually they feed them once. That's when they feed them the second time.
The second preparing a food. That's when it like every line gets super, like every single line's very nefarious.
Yeah, everything sounds like they're about to get eaten, and they give you the little misdirect with the...
That's true. Okay, we'll get there. So, my bad. I get it early. I'll show you guys when we get there. So, after eating, being called quite a dish, they actually provide the Simpsons with entertainment like TV with 1 million channels, but no HBO. That would cost extra. They also try to show the Simpsons Pong and pass it off as an electronic version of what you call table tennis.
It's just Pong, man.
Yeah, get with the times. I love that they just hate on them.
Yeah. Everybody from a brace who's
conquered intergalactic travel, raise their hand. Bart, yeah. Homer just slaps it down.
It was solid.
It was a perfect usage of it, Eddie. Perfect. He said when we make contact again, and then hit the Hella Greg theme.
It's appropriate.
I like how it's not the X-Files theme anymore. It's just the Hella Greg theme. So
they're gonna have to start paying me residuals.
After that, they are feasting again. The family is weighed on a giant scale, and the Rigelians constantly make references to food. Lisa's becoming suspicious because the aliens at this point are making very nefarious comments, and thinks to herself thinking of the aliens' true motives. So this is where we get the uncloaching. They tell them about the great feast on Rigel 4. Yeah. Will we be invited? Oh, I think you'll be invited.
Hey, how come we never see you eat?
Yeah.
Because we don't want to spoil our appetites for the big feast.
And then what do they say at the end? We don't want to talk much more about it. We can chew the fat when we get there.
Yeah.
And Lisa's just like every single time they say something, it's just like, wait.
That has two meanings.
Yeah, so that night she wanders around the spaceship, and Greg and I watched this episode last night, and the way she's walking, Greg called very alien Mr. Burns-like.
Bring you love.
It's bringing us love. Get it. Break its legs. So she heads into the alien's kitchen where she spots Chef Serac cooking something to give the humans the perfect flavor. After he leaves the room, Lisa grabs the book called How to Cook Humans and runs to her family and accuses the Rigelians of feeding them. Feeding them to eat later. So they're getting fat. It's the Hansel and Gretel. They're getting fattened up to be eaten later. But as she's telling them, Serac the Preparer is standing behind her. She did not get that news out very privately. At that point, Homer grabs, he's got like a breadstick. He's eating some pasta, and he starts pointing it at his face. Listen, you big, stupid space creature.
Nobody eats the Simpsons.
It's so good.
While he's chewing.
Yeah. However, it is then revealed that Lisa did not see the whole title of the book, which is actually called How to Cook for Humans after blowing off some space dust.
Wait a second.
Yeah, Lisa
There's even more space dust on here.
She blows off even more to show that it is called How to Cook 40 Humans. Serac then realizes himself that there's even more space dust and reveals the final title to be, if you watch the little TV, I got it for you here. Final title, oh, there's even more. It's How to Cook for 40 Humans. He opens the little glass on his screen.
Every time I see that, it makes me think of the Halloween episode where they were eating the kids in the school.
Oh yeah,
and
the wall.
Mrs. Krabappel was reading the book, The Joys of Cooking Millhouse.
Oh yeah.
And I think of that when I think of that book, like written by the same people. I feel like
perfect. So they're bummed out because we see now it's How to Cook for 40 Humans. Serac the Preparer is altruistic in his intentions. The Rigelians are sad. They're disappointed and angry at the family. And Serac the Preparer is just bawling at this point. If you wanted to make Serac the Preparer cry, then mission accomplished. Yeah, when it's James Earl Jones just doing a Darth Vader cry. They decided to take the humans back home to live their life of not gods but normal human beings. They had the chance to experience emotions 100 times stronger than what they call love and 1,000 times greater than what they call fun. But alas, because of their mistrust, they will never get to be a part of that. The UFO flies away into the night, and Lisa says, "There were monsters on that ship, and truly we were them." And then Marge says,
"This is what we mean when we say you're too smart for your own good."
Oh, it's so good.
Maggie, that's why I think Maggie's smarter. She knows when to keep her mouth shut.
That's true, always. Then we come back to Bart doing this.
Hello.
Something scary happening over here.
Lisa just ignoring.
Yeah, because she's got the wraparound sets up our third story, which is going to be told by Lisa this time.
Finally.
Exactly. Bart notices that it's a book that he would see at school because it's a book of Edgar Allan Poe's poetry. And Lisa tells him, "Don't worry, Bart. You won't learn anything." So this one I actually don't have a ton for because it's just one of those ones that, like, explaining it does nothing. We've all heard or are familiar with Edgar Allan Poe's The Raven. It is just a cool 6-minute Simpsons version instead of a 3.5-hour Edgar Allan Poe version.
I got extra credit my freshman year of high school in my English class because we were talking about Edgar Allan Poe, and I brought in my season 1 Simpsons DVD and found the Halloween episode and put the fast forward to The Raven, and we watched it.
Quoth the Raven.
Like, as a synopsis of The Raven, and my teacher was like, "This is not at all what I expected." And I was like, well,
extra credit, I guess.
What did you like? She's like, "Well, you're not getting a whole lot of extra credit for this."
Eddie said, "I don't read, so what is this story you speak of?" So, in a parody of Edgar Allan Poe's classic poem, The Raven, the narrator is James Earl Jones, partially, and then every time the antagonist speaks, it's It's Homer every time. The Raven speaks. It's Bart. It's a Bart Raven. We hear he hears a knock at the chamber door. You know, knocking on my chamber door. While he wandered weak and weary. You know, all that stuff. The knocking goes on. He finds out it's a raven behind the window. When he opens it, the raven.
He opens the door and there was nothing there in the hallway.
You know what would be scarier than nothing?
What?
Anything! Bart. Eddie said.
He's just trying to establish mood.
Eddie said, "Still extra credit."
Yeah. Credit I had.
Exactly. Lisa tells him he's just trying to establish mood. But he then goes to the window, opens it. The raven comes in. Raven flies into the room, sits under the bust of Pallas above the door, and says, quoth the raven, "Eat my shorts." Bart! He says nevermore. I actually have a little,
Hey.
Here you go, a little Bart Raven here for you. On a pile of Edgar Allan Poe books.
Are they the ones that he dropped from the shelf?
No, it's the top one says The Raven, Poems by Poe, and E.A. Poe are the titles.
Oh.
That would have been a really good if it said The Pit and the Pendulum, and I don't even remember what the third one
Telltale
was.
Heart.
No, it's not the Telltale Heart.
One of them wasn't the Telltale Heart?
Nope. The third one is... I forgot what it's called. Starts with a P. You won't look it up.
Telltale Heart.
Here. I'm positive it's not the Telltale Heart. It's a less famous one. I bet I have it in here. Hold on. Let's see if it's in the book.
Oh, it's a race now.
The Raven, Bart drops The Pit and the Pendulum, Telltale Heart, and the Purloined Letter.
Oh.
That's what it was. The Purloined Letter.
That's what I said.
I gave extra credit to one of my classes for singing the fun song from SpongeBob, and I kid you not, within 2 seconds, the whole class got on sync and sang it all. There you go. That's what you do. Good teacher, Eddie. Okay, so yes, the Raven comes in. He terrorizes our main character, who's played by Homer. Nevermore. I have that one here too on the TV. After he drops all these.
He drops the flower pot on his head.
Yeah. Is it the flower pot of the books? When Nevermore.
Pretty sure it's the flower pot. He swats him.
Yeah, that's when he jumps up there. When Homer does like the 8-foot jump.
Yeah, that was a solid leap.
Great jump, Homer.
That was a legit 8-foot door, and he got up to the top of it.
Yep. So he tries to catch the Raven.
In theory, Homer Simpson can honey dip.
He tries to catch the Raven only to provoke it more, where it drops books on him. At the end, the mad narrator lies in the center of the room, surrounded by books, and the Raven laughs. That one it seemed kind of silly to try to explain. That one is one that, like, if you've watched The Simpsons, you should have seen that by now. If you don't, let me know. I'll send it to you. If you haven't watched The Simpsons, you probably had to read The Raven in high school. I can't imagine that you got through public high school without reading one Poe poem.
There was still, like, some pretty fun little detail things, like when it showed Lenore, the morning, or the wife that he mourns.
And it was Marge.
And the picture was real tall, and it was just her hair, and then it like went up and curled over like that.
It had an extra canvas for it.
Yeah, there's a second picture with the rest of her hair.
That's true.
And then, the Poe books that the Raven drops.
Yeah. So yeah, that's the first Simpsons Treehouse of Horror, man. A couple production notes here. The episode is considered to be, of course, non-canon. We talked about this. Takes place outside the normal continuity of the show. Part of the series' attraction to the writers that they were able to break the rules and include violence and kill off characters, which they could not usually do in a regular episode.
Can't kill them. We need them.
So this episode's reception, since it first aired, the episode has received very positive reviews from critics. It is almost always included in the lists of best episodes of the show. This is the only Treehouse of Horror episode to have a treehouse motif, despite the word treehouse in the title of all Halloween specials.
Some of them have taken place in the bed and
right.
living room, and
this is non-canonical, but it's the first time the Simpsons have a barbecue. We already read the tombstones at the beginning. McCartney's gravestone is a reference to the Paul is Dead hoax of the 1960s. Homer overuses lighter fluid for the barbecue again later in the episode Lisa the Vegetarian, which includes Paul McCartney. Bart, as the Raven, knocks over several Edgar Allan Poe. Look, I already had him on here. Telltale Heart, Pit in the Pendulum, Purloined Letter. The book To Serve 40 Humans is a reference to the Twilight Zone episode. One man accepts... Sorry. It's a cookbook! That's the line from the Twilight Zone episode. Oh, and he does it before they get on the ship. This is the first time the show has adapted a book into an actual episode. So the Treehouse of Horror was the comic before it was an episode. So they adapted their comic to the episode. Up until Halloween of Horror, this is the only Halloween episode with the normal Gracie Films logo sequence. The Treehouse of Horror 2, it features a pipe organ playing in its jingle. Yeah. Hey, you don't tell me to shush. Treehouse of 4 onwards, a horrific and loud scream replaces shush. Yeah. However, FXX reruns use the same Gracie Films logo for Treehouse of Horror 4.
Lazy.
Absolutely unwatchable.
I sure hope someone was fired for that blunder.
Yeah, while I'm thinking about it, you guys, Floyd threw some money down on the challenge. If you guys want to put money towards the rewards and challenge, you can put $2,000 per stream. 22 days left. 22 days left for 9% of the way. Unacceptable conditions indeed. It's to make me do a 12-hour stream in October. So get in there, spend those points. If you don't want to make me do dumb shit, you can spend them towards that. Okay, so this is the first Treehouse in which Kang and Kodos don't try to conquer Earth, or it's the only one. In every other one, they have some type of plan to conquer Earth.
And communication.
This is the only Treehouse of Horror not to have the cast's name changed due to Halloween, like Bat Groening, James Hellbrooks.
Hellbrooks.
Yeah.
Damn Sayonara Simon.
Yep. The Indian burial ground under the house in Bad Dream House contains the graves of Crazy Horse, Sitting Bull, Mahatma Gandhi, Pocahontas, Geronimo, Tonto, Sacagawea, and Not So Crazy Horse.
That's crazy talk. No, it's true. No, I know. That's my brother, Crazy Talk. We're all a little worried about it.
In Hungry Are the Damned, when the Rigelians are measuring the Simpsons' weight, along with Kang and Kodos and Sirac, there's a fourth unnamed Rigelian with him that does not appear in the rest of the episode. This is the first appearance of Kang and Kodos and the only appearance of Sirac the Preparer. Like, bring back James Earl Jones and let him do Sirac, man.
Can they?
Why not? This should James Earl... Yeah, I mean, but it's Disney.
Yeah.
Is he dead? Did he die?
I think so. Remember when they had all the James Earl Jones cameos in the clouds?
Yeah. A lot of stuff's happened.
Murphy, Mufasa.
Yeah. Darth Vader.
This is CNN.
So let's see. In The Raven, Homer is reading Forgotten Lore, Volume 2. This is a reference to the second line of the poem, in which the narrator is pondering over many quaint and curious volume of forgotten lore. Eddie said he's alive.
90 years old.
Yep. See, bring it back.
January 17th, 1931. Jesus Christ.
Marge's warning at the beginning was put in just because the producers genuinely thought this episode was scarier for younger viewers and children. The plot of telling scary stories comes from the Tracy Ullman short Scary Stories and would also reappear in Treehouse of Horror 3. All the segments had different people working on them, unlike the following episodes. For unknown reasons, on FXX reruns, instead of using its own credit music, it uses the one from Treehouse of Horror 13. Random.
Weird.
And then I've got a list of references, and then I'm done. Okay, here's the references. Marge's warning is from Frankenstein. The house's shape in Bad Dream House is Psycho. This episode, there's an episode of Recess called the episode Terrifying Tales of Recess. Life in Hell is referenced because Binky is in Maggie's bed.
Yeah.
The Amityville Horror for the blood streams on the wall. The Shining for Lisa grabbing a butter knife and Homer holding an axe. The Exorcist for Maggie turning her head 360 degrees. Poltergeist for the house being built on an ancient Indian burial ground and the scary tree outside Lisa's bedroom. The fall of the house of Usher when the house implodes. The Fly, a fly cries out "ow" as it hits a bug zapper. Twilight Zone, the dust blowing, which they'll do the Fly again.
Yeah.
Twilight Zone, the dust blowing sequence. The Raven, Lisa reads this story. We know that one. The cast of Amontillado. Homer's cup has Amontillado written on it. Lenore, the character, also appears in The Raven. The Pit and the Pendulum. Bart drops it. Telltale Heart, Purloined Letter. And then Friday the 13th, Bart compares how The Raven might have been scary back in the 1840s because look at Friday the 13th. It's tame by today's standards.
Yeah, Friday the 13th, part 1.
Yeah, so great episode. So what I'm going to do is move us to what I'm calling the rating screen.
Oh.
Yes, the rating screen. So you guys can rate it in the comments if you want. What Greg and I do, the Simpsons have, of course, we know, 4 fingers. So if you found this episode to be a good episode, how you like it, you could rate it anywhere from a 0 to a 4. Decimal points allowed. If it's a 3.6 episode to you, give it a 3.6. If it's a really, really great episode, you could give it 4. But we have one special thing we can give to an episode because Jesus and God in The Simpsons both have 5 fingers. So if it is a Jesus, if it only God,
does he?
I don't know. Okay, well, so we'll just say only God for now. If it is a God level episode, you would give it 5 fingers. If you don't mind, Greg, I'll rate it first.
Go ahead.
5 fingers, Greg. There's God's hand. I'm giving it 5 yellow fingers. Let me tell you why. It's the first.
I need about 350.
I need about 350. It's the first. It set the tone. It was the precedent. It is great. It holds up. It's silly enough. 1990 was 31 years ago.
Yeah, that's wild.
It's still, there were times where I've seen this. I watched it 4 times this week.
Yeah.
It still just made me laugh out loud and feel like a kid again. And the nostalgia is still there. And the Treehouse of Horror episodes don't let down at all. 5 yellow fingers for me. Give it that God level status. This might be the case with a lot of these early Treehouses, but I give it a 5, man.
Yeah, absolutely. I also, too, as well, will give it a 5.
Boom.
Because like you said, it's the first. It sets the tone, and also I just really like the Treehouse joke now that I get it.
Once you realize there was a motif.
Yeah, once I realized it's called Treehouse of Horror because they're sitting in a treehouse telling scary stories, I was like, "Well, this changes literally everything."
This changes everything.
It really does.
It's beautiful, man.
Yeah.
All right. Anything you want to add before we get out of here?
No, this was fun.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. It's been a while.
It's good to be back, baby.
I'm back, baby.
So I'll get to working on a couple other things for the stream. This was kind of, as much as we talked about it early, I put it together in 48 hours. Still fun to do. I can't wait till next week. This is going to be the nice thing about Tuesday nights too, guys. They're going to be a little shorter. If anybody wants to play video games afterwards, let me know. I think I'm going to play Gunfire. But yeah, if anybody wants to see this episode and you don't have Disney Plus, just shoot me a message. I'll get you a link where you can just watch it. I get you hooked up. The Simpsons have made their money.
They've been milking this cow for far too long.
Thank you guys so much. Let's take a look here at who we could maybe send this over to.
Guests with questions?
Guests with questions. Yeah, let's hear it, brother.
Yeah, no, you got questions, buddy? I got answers. I will have you know I did this entire episode with 0 outline. I was freestyling everything from the top of me head.
No one's gay for Mole Man.
Simpsons were problematic back in the day.
That wasn't even a very old episode.
I know. So now you got no questions, Eddie? Or are you typing because you're 30 seconds behind because you're on your phone trying to be quiet? Is there not good Wi-Fi signal in San Diego?
What's the problem, bro?
Yeah, I like questions about The Simpsons. There used to be this show. Oh, you were asking, would you have guests and questions? Game show.
Oh, get out of here.
Yeah.
I loved that Instagram comment today. Dang diddly ding dong crap.
Yeah. Easy there, nettly diddly doodly. They gave it their best shotly iddly doodly. Diddly doodly.
So
Hell diddly ding dong crap.
I'm going to send it over to Seawing. If you guys don't know him, he's a rad guy. He does a lot. He does some games. He does a little bit of ASMR. He does some interviews from now and again. He interviewed Kristen. It was a really cool, like, 3.5, 4 hour stream, and it was a really great interview. So go check out Seawing. I'm going to send you guys that way. Hello, Greg. Thank you so much for being here with me, buddy. I appreciate all you guys for stopping out. We're going to be trying to do this like every Tuesday night. So if you're free for about an hour Tuesday night, you know we're going to be doing this. I love you guys all. Thank you a bunch. And we'll see you very soon. Thank you very much. And I'll see you guys Thursday for games. Bye.